Hi everyone, I'm Diana Palm and I'm the medium helping you heal the grief from heartbreak and loss. Welcome to my show, Reconnect. Today I have a very special guest on with me, Cheryl Howdyshell, and I've met her here in Fredericksburg. She's the owner of this beautiful store and healing center called the Grove of Brite Blessings. And I encountered her the other day. We got into like a really great conversation and she began sharing some of her experiences with the afterlife, and I thought, what better person to have on here so she could tell you live and share some of her own personal experiences. Cheryl is a medium, and so she has personal experiences as a medium and a lot of experiences in the field with the afterlife. So welcome, Cheryl.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
I'm excited to be doing this.
Yes, of course. We just started chatting and she started sharing. We were talking about Fredericksburg and the history and the hauntings and the ghosts, and she was relaying one of the ghost stories she had, and I just stopped her and I go, hey, will you come on and talk to my viewers about this? Because she's lived, how long have you lived here?
32 years possibly now. Yes.
And how long have you had your store?
A little over 7.
Okay, and it's wonderful. It's right downtown Fredericksburg, right on
Caroline Street, 914, a court of shops. So we always tell people we are a hidden gem. We are in the back of the store, completely to the left-hand side. So when you walk in, you see antiques and other things that might mislead you, but we are back here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like sporadic. We got room here and here and here and here. And I think as we're talking about some things, I'll have you show them some of your supply, like if they want to do stuff for clearing,
Sure.
or to like increase the vibrations in their home. Like, you know, you have beautiful Himalayan Salt lamps or whatever else you want to show people. So we'll go through some of her stuff too, and share some of that.
Okay.
So I'm going to pop off the screen for a minute, but I will be right here asking Cheryl some questions. And just have her share some of her own expertise. So Cheryl, can you tell me first, tell us about yourself, your store, and your services. What do you provide?
We provide just about anything and everything available or that with somebody that would need. Energy healings, chakra tunings, cleansings. I do mediumship, I do readings. My husband does readings. He is a spiritual life coach. And then we have our associate Kelly, who is in here, and she does the other side of everything. So we have a conglomeration of taking care of anything and everything that you could possibly think of walking in here, basically. We have classes, tarot classes, crystal classes, starseed classes, which I do, and quite a number of things. And we keep adding. It seems like we keep adding every month, and that's what we need to do. As somebody asks, we just supply.
Yeah.
Or we try.
And last week when I stopped in, you were in the middle of like a psychic fair? Is that what you would call it? Or everyone was coming in to have readings? And
It was just actually a very busy weekend.
Okay.
Off the chain. So we do have psychic weekends, or psychic Sundays as we call it. The last Sunday of the month, typically, it's we do walk-ins, $20, 20 minutes. And you can have runes read, bones, tarot, oracle, mediumship.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
How long have you been working as a professional medium?
15 years. I started it out of our house. I was doing readings, and then it went into past life regression. I took a course, certified past life regression. So everything was out of the house for probably 3 years. And then this shop basically fell into our laps. So it's just been expanding.
Amazing. Well, when did you first know you were a medium?
When I was 4.
Can you tell us about that?
Well, my mom was psychic. My mom had her gifts. My dad, of course, didn't believe. And then we had things happen at our house. I grew up in New Jersey. We had a small 2-bedroom ranch and lights going off and on. My mom would see things. I would see things, hear things, smell things. It was all of it. And I just thought it was normal, as any 5-year-old, 4-year-old would think. And then going to school and you start talking to the kids about things that you see in the woods, they call you crazy. It didn't bother me. I just kept doing what I did, and it progressed to the point where by the time I was 12, my one aunt was involved with my mom with, I wouldn't say readings, but meditation. So every Tuesday night we would sit down for a meditation session. It would be my mom, my aunt, 2 of their friends, myself, basically from 7 o'clock at night to midnight. So we had like 4 sessions of meditation. Actually, it was TM, what we were doing, that I didn't know what we were doing. I was just doing. And we did that every week, I would say, probably for about 4 years.
Wow. So for those of the viewers that don't know what TM is, can you?
Transcendental meditation, which basically, to me, turns into astral traveling and mediumship. And I always tell anybody who walks in here how to work on your gifts is meditate, because that's what did it for me. That's opened the door for me, because there for a while I did shut everything down in my 20s, but it was still there. And when it came back really full force and beyond.
Yeah, and that was going to be my next question. Like, what did you do to develop? So you did TM
and that's basically
and sitting.
Yeah. And then we just would discuss. And my mom did automatic writing. My mom had a crystal ball, but she never brought it out. So now I have her crystal ball.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I don't use it as often as I should. I have done automatic writing. My aunt did also. So we all had various workings that we did, that we were capable of. And very interesting sessions, to say the least, yeah.
Have you lost anybody close to you?
My parents.
Okay, and have you experienced them in the afterlife?
My dad, no. My mom, very interesting. We had a doorbell on the side of our house. It was battery. And at the time I was working and getting up at 2 to go into work at 3 in the morning. The doorbell would ring, and I live out in the country. There's nobody around us. There's no houses, it's woods. There's nobody there at 3 o'clock in the morning on my side porch. It would happen every morning for a while, and finally we took the batteries out. It still continued. And I knew it was her.
Yeah.
And finally, we took the whole thing down because I couldn't take it anymore. But I've had her come in dreams. She doesn't speak. She's just there. Not very often. But those have been my experiences with, yeah.
And it's amazing, because how does it make you feel when you have like a dream visit or a sign or symbol that tells you your mom is with you?
In the beginning, when I had those dreams, when my mom wouldn't speak, she would be like basically right here in front of me, and it would aggravate me, because it's like, what is it that you want? Or what do you need to say? And it was just a blank face. So it was aggravating to begin with. I learned that that's just how she is then, or the dreams have progressed to other things which help me understand what is going on at the time, possibly. But yeah.
Okay, so you've grown with it.
Yeah. It takes a bit, and I have, and not seeing my dad doesn't upset me at all. I think we all need to see or have visitation from who we need. He and I didn't always get along when I was older, so that's okay with me, you know?
Yeah, okay, good. And then, so what kind of experiences have you had with the ghosts in Fredericksburg?
Oh my. Where to start with that? I guess my first experience would be when I first moved here. I was living we were renting a house down on Plantation Forest Road, and was not aware that basically backed up to the Spotsylvania battlefield. And then behind our house was a trench that I was not aware of. I just thought it was something somebody dug up for Verizon or something like that. Between 11 o'clock and midnight would be when I would hear the basement door open and close. It was a split level house, and our bedroom was upstairs because my son was little, so we did not use the bedroom downstairs. But I knew somebody was coming in and walking through and walking out the back wall. And I finally picked up on it that it was a very young soldier. And then I asked a neighbor about the trench in the backyard, and she goes, well, that was a trench from the Civil War. And I'm like, oh, well, that explains a lot. So I had...
So let me just stop you for
Sure.
a second. For those of the viewers that don't know anything about Fredericksburg, there is I don't know, is it a mile long? It's a very long trench where they actually fought in battle, and they kept the trench as is.
Yes.
So that's part of the trench your house
Yeah,
was on.
yeah, which I was not aware of. But yeah, and then finally it was one night, I was alone upstairs and everybody was in bed, and he walked upstairs and knocked on my door, and I'm like, no, you go back downstairs. You're not invited up here. Do your walking where you need to go. So that was my first encounter here. And then a friend took me to Chatham, which I knew nothing about Chatham. I'm not big on the Civil War history, although I've learned more about it now that I'm dealing with the spirits here. Chatham is very interesting. The room is to the left. When you walk in, it's the left-hand most room, which has windows, and I don't even know if it's open anymore. But when I went in, all I did was hear screaming and crying, and I had to walk out. It was really a heavy situation. And the person I was with actually told me that that was the amputee room. And then naturally looking out the windows, I see body parts laying all over it, which made sense to me. But since then I've gone back and I have not had that room. That room has not been opened. So it doesn't affect me as greatly. I think it's because I'm aware of what that building was used for.
So many are buried up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the history that I recently read about Fredericksburg when I was on the Haunted Walking Tour and going through some of the historical plaques that they have positioned downtown and all throughout town in Fredericksburg. It was saying that, some of they held slaves here in Fredericksburg.
Yep, right up back here. It
Yeah.
was the market square.
Yeah.
Is where there's a lot.
Yeah, so when the Union came, before the war even started, they started burning the houses, pillaging, taking things, and families just fled, and it was a riot in the streets. And I think the next day they said the bodies were stacked up everywhere, up and down the streets. They tried to turn every residence that was still existing and every public building into a field hospital because they needed so much care for the wounded, but the streets themselves were lined with dead. And so the slaves that escaped, and they wanted their freedom, they actually were able to cross the river to where the Union was held up at Chatham.
And also here,
Yeah.
because under this building is the basement where supposedly it was the last destination before crossing.
Yeah,
And-
that makes sense.
Yes, so
Because Chatham is right across the river, like just a hop
Yep.
away. It's a narrow river.
yes.
Yeah.
So under our basement, there's at least 300 spirits. I have not encountered all of them. I've encountered a few, which have been very interesting because when we first purchased the business, we had 2 small rooms over in the middle. And I was told by the previous owner, because she had abilities, and unfortunately, the spirits were kept in the basement.
As
Not-
part of the Underground Railroad, or just housed down there, kept?
Their spirits were kept down there
Oh, I
for
see.
a certain
Okay.
reason.
Yes. Okay.
I don't want to go into it.
Yeah, that's okay.
So, when we purchased the business, I would sit over there, come after work and sit over there. And there was one time, 'cause I would talk to them and I knew what had happened. I knew why they were down there. And I invited them, whoever, to come up. I'm like, we're different. And actually, I looked out of the one door one day and I happened to catch burlap pants walking past, you know, the old,
Yes.
the slaves wore the burlap pants
Yes.
with the
Yep.
rope.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, thank you. You know, you're free to walk up here. I'm not keeping you in the basement.
Right.
So there's been a few that actually wander on up here that take care of things for us,
Nice.
along with a lot of other spirits that continue to, yeah.
Definitely. I mean, you're right in the middle of downtown, so you have a lot of, you know, probably Civil War, other wounded. You have, it's layer after layer. And then aside from that, all your clients that come here for help, so many of them are in grief and so many have lost loved ones. Sometimes they get deposited in places like this too. They're looking for help and healing and the light. And so they'll come in as you're healing your clients and working with them.
And then keep in mind too that this street has burned down a few times.
Yeah.
This building has burned 3 times.
Wow.
And so there's spirits in here from that.
Yes.
That we've discovered. So it's interesting in here at times.
Yeah. And when we were talking the other day, you've worked with Paranormal as well.
Yes.
You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So I've been with a few different groups in the area. Unfortunately, our leader now has passed, but the first group that my husband and I were with, I forgot about this encounter. We were at the SPCA in Stafford. If you have a chance, you really need to check it out. It was for an investigation one night because they were having a lot of issues. The animals, the dogs and cats were upset. Things were happening. So when I go in with a paranormal group, I don't want to know any information. I just want to walk in blindly and tell them what I'm picking up. And I had one of the owners come in with me. She walked with me and my husband, and I gave her insight onto what was going on. First of all, that house or that building used to be a place for lost children. It was a building down back that had burned, and because there were children in the backyard playing, I could see them.
Child spirits.
Child spirits, yes,
Yes.
playing. I don't refer to them as spirits. I guess I just, yeah, they're just there for me. And then inside, at one time, that building went to a men's home. The problem there was they were not kept very well. There was death inside there, and I picked all of that up. And then there was one room in particular that I found a black man hiding in a closet, his spirit. And it was something that continually happened. So, but it was very depressing and heavy. So one night, the night that we were there was the young guy. He looked at me and he goes, "So let's do some energy work on this and try to pull out the whole situation." Something I've never tried before, but very interesting. So he actually sat in the closet, and I stood in the room to witness everything. And he pushed his energy out just as I did, and what I saw was one of the staff gentlemen coming down the hallway with a belt, like he's getting ready to whip. And the poor spirit in the closet is cowering and crying. And I was like, that's it, we gotta stop right here. But that was the scenario. And they're still having issues up there because somebody came in a couple weeks ago and started talking about that, and I'm like, yeah, I've been there. It's pretty rough up there.
Yeah.
A lot of it I think is residual, so you can't move it on. It's just a lot of situations compounded on top of each other that make it difficult to weed through and move on.
Sometimes those scenes are recorded and they play over and over and over like a loop, and you can't move them on, you can't cross them over. it's just like a timestamp that will, forever be there. I don't know
Right.
if they dissipate over time or what, but it's stuck in the timeline as if it's current timeline.
And it was between midnight and 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
It was that time frame because no one else was around
Mm-hmm.
to witness anything, and that's what took place.
Yeah. And residual energy is usually, residual haunting is usually produced from like extreme emotion, right? Like the trauma that gets released into the
Yes.
environment, like records a timestamp.
Yep. So you have
Yeah.
one's hatred, and you have the other one
Fear.
fear.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was a interesting encounter quite a few years ago.
Yeah. And how about, you told me about the one that you actually saw, part of one of the, was it in the cemetery? up here?
Cemetery.
Yeah.
So the Confederate cemetery, we were up there one night. We were supposed to do an investigation. It fell through. So there were 4 of us that got together, and we just hung out there snapping pictures, and actually caught a figure on a picture, and you could just see it, his hat, the outline of his body, and he's standing against the fence with his rifle.
That is so
That was
amazing.
really interesting.
That was so amazing.
Yeah.
So now you're you don't have a group. You don't have a paranormal
No.
group. Okay. So that's a call out. I told her about my dear friend John Savage of Savage Paranormal. He's down in Norfolk, Virginia. He does phenomenal paranormal investigations. He's been at it for over 30 years. He's a total pro. So John, hey, right here. You guys can like go back and forth and maybe do some investigating down there, or Fredericksburg. I mean, you'll be busy for months.
We've
in
done
Fredericksburg
investigations
alone.
on this street, actually.
Yeah.
Oh,
I found that it's really hard to find a quiet enough time because there's so much traffic.
and even
You
at
know?
night, there was a shop on the street. It's not there anymore, but the shop is there, but what's inside is not there. It was Pennsylvania Tea and Spice. They had 2 buildings in the next block. And we were there one night, actually 2 investigations, and we caught quite a bit of paranormal. Hi. Quite a bit of paranormal. And we actually heard horses galloping down the street at 2 o'clock in the morning. Now,
love
granted,
it.
we have horses here, and they do carriage rides, not at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're hearing them.
Yeah, and
love that.
then in the basement one night, actually I caught a little girl walking behind somebody because it was a flash of light, and I'm like, is somebody there? And somebody passed by and caught her developing on film. So
Nice.
that,
I love it.
Whole street.
I love getting it. It's one thing to have an afterlife experience or an experience with the paranormal, but when you can actually get documented evidence, when you can get beyond just the senses and the vision, but you can actually get it on film or get it recorded, that's what turns it from spiritual to scientific. And I love that because I think that that's important in our line of work.
I think so.
So many people are like still non-believers.
They're hedging about all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's really nice. I think the paranormal is actually the crossover that really brings more substance to the spiritual and helps people understand it in a broader way.
Definitely.
And lets people really, really, really know, yes, your loved ones are still connected to you after they pass. Yes, there's a whole spiritual world. There's all kinds of things that happen. It's a whole world in and of itself. It's just a different vibration than physical. So those of us that are mediums can tap into that, and that's also something that can be taught. You can learn how to increase your vibration and clear enough stuff within yourself to get spiritual sight and to be able to connect with the spirit world. And there's so many different steps to how people develop or how they get there.
Definitely.
But it's a big area, and I love working with the spirit world.
I do too. I get my kick. Well, I shouldn't say that. I get energized from working over there.
Me too.
Yeah.
And we were chatting about it and kind of
Psyched.
laughing because we're like, yeah, when we go into a house that's not haunted, it feels so boring. It's like it literally feels really
Yep.
like empty.
Yes.
It's like something's wrong with this.
Right.
It's empty.
Yeah. So we built a house. Let's see, 25 years ago. We were out in the country. Yeah, our house, the land is haunted. I have a lot of I have 2 portals in my house.
Okay.
And, you know, people come up and go, don't you want to close them? No, that's the fun. I don't let anything bad in. Nothing.
Yeah.
The house is protected. I mean, I know what to do
Yes.
with it. But I have Indians. I've had little children, a boy and a girl, with the old-fashioned hoops,
Yeah.
run through the kitchen and out, and I'm yelling at them, don't run in the house. And I'm like, wait a minute, they're spirits. They don't care. It's
Well, maybe they do. I mean, I'll tell you, when I was single, when I was younger, I was a single mom for years, and every time, if I was dating a new gentleman and the spirits in my home did not like him, there would be holy hell. I mean,
wow.
all kinds of stuff. He'd get pinched, poked, accidents would happen, drains and leaks would come down and only hit his clothing or his items.
Wow.
I'd had, doors slamming, pictures, all this stuff, and it's like, I'd be like, oh, so you don't, not that one, huh? Okay. I even had where the birds were participating, and the birds would poop on his car, and there'd be dead birds on his car, and we're like, ooh, not that one either.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, it can be quite interesting at the house
Mm-hmm.
or anywhere, but yeah, it's
People that have gifts are usually, they have a huge support team in spirit. And so it's not like a ghost or just a loved one. There is a huge spiritual support team. And so when you're tapping in with that, that's what kind of, I think, it makes it fun. And we talked about that. We're like, it's so much fun to be in a spiritually active environment, not a haunted environment, but a spiritually active one where you can interact and learn about them and help them if they need help, or have them, even though we're spiritual and we're in a physical body, I think mostly the fun of being here is tapping into our spiritual gifts and bringing it into the physical. Don't you?
I think so. Yeah, definitely. Especially the paranormal investigations,
Yes.
The longer we go at night, the more awake I am and into it.
Yeah. And with peers that are like excited to be there
Yes.
and into it too.
I'm up for it. I'm ready.
Yeah. So anybody watching this, please reach out to Cheryl to, if you're local for a paranormal group, John Savage, hey. Yeah, you guys should really connect. I'll put all your information below the video, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, it's always really good, if you're alone and you're developing or you're eager to get out, make sure you're connecting with others. There's always ways that you can get out and really develop your skills and abilities and get out in the field and be more active and explore the invisible realms, explore the spirit world, hauntings, the afterlife. It's
And you're not crazy.
you're definitely
Because
no.
we still have people coming. I hear things and I see things. You're going to think I'm crazy. No, not at all. I mean,
I know.
I've dealt with it since I was, little. So
Exactly.
to me, it's normal. It's just a
Exactly.
normal thing.
If you were going to tell somebody, if they came to Fredericksburg for a day, where's the one place you would send them to perhaps experience the supernatural?
Wow, that's hard. Probably Chatham or the Confederate Cemetery. But all you have to do is walk up and down Caroline Street and tap into the buildings. There's a lot in every building around here. So it's just about, walking in and just, taking a couple deep breaths and let it come to you. But it's here.
Yeah, I did experience a spirit the other day at Rising Sun Tavern.
Yes. I got pushed down the stairs one day. That was a long time ago when there was a Halloween tour that Norm and I took. Actually, I was not pushed downstairs, I was pushed upstairs. I had somebody at my back going, but yes, that's a good one there.
Yeah, it happened to me in the cage barrier in that room where they serve the booze.
Yes.
And I got like really super dizzy. The floor got like a fun house. And I was like, and I was like, okay, I was listening to the tour, and I was like, oh, I'm also sensing something very strong coming over me. And I'm like, a spirit was like really letting itself be known. So I didn't see it, but it made a full impression on all my senses.
Yeah, like I said, any building in here, downtown.
Yeah.
Just tap in.
Yes. And so what could a normal person do by tap in? Sit down on a bench and what?
Like I always say, 3 deep breaths tells your body that you're doing something different. And plus it calms you down, it calms the mind down. That's where I feel is the initial start of just being able to put yourself in a different mindset, different mode. If 3 doesn't work, do it again. But it's all, to me, it's always in 3s. That's how I tell people to just calm down and hear if I'm doing a past life or a life between life, something like that. They just need to find themselves in a different state.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes them more receptive.
Yes.
Right?
Definitely.
Do you sell out of state? Like if people were to see something on the show and they're like, oh my gosh, I want that. Do you actually do that? Will you send it out of state?
Yes. So we don't have an online store. For the most part, we tell people look on our Facebook pages because that's where we try to put current merchandise, new things coming in. We're always taking pictures, putting it up. A lot of things are one of a kinds. So it's, if you see it, you need to say something and get in touch. So yes, you can call.
Okay.
I have done FaceTime with people on the phone for them to pick out.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
When we were shut down for 2 weeks during COVID, we were actually here 3 days a week. We had the owners open up for us, just us, to come in, and we were taking things out to the sidewalk, and they were picking and buying. So we will do whatever you
Okay,
need.
good. So you can just add on the shipping for whatever.
Yep.
Okay.
Definitely.
That's really good to know. So I think when we're done talking, we'll walk around and look at some of your products.
Sure.
Okay. So that's wonderful. And can you tell us what your Facebook page is and any ways that they can reach you?
Okay, so the Facebook page is the Grove of Brite, B-R-I-T-E Blessings. I know it will autocorrect to B-R-I-G-H-T, and that's not us. And then I have a Facebook page which is Brite Blessings, B-R-I-T-E Blessings. Psychic medium, I think it is. Or just type in Brite Blessings and you'll get me. Mine was up first. And then we also have websites, both the same way, the groveofbriteblessings.com, briteblessings.com. We're on Instagram, so it would be _grove_of_the grove of Brite_blessings. And then mine is Brite_blessings.
So what we'll have you do, Cheryl, is I'll have you write it all down.
Sure.
And I'll put it all under the video so
Sounds
that.
good.
Yep. So if they have
And
any
I'll stick
questions.
my phone number on there too.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Also do phone readings.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yes.
Yeah, you can do phone readings. Do you do any of the other tarot readings on the phone? Anything like that?
Kelly does.
Okay.
She would have to do it from the shop, I think.
Yep.
But yeah, I do mediumship or oracle readings over the phone.
Perfect. Perfect. And where will they find your prices
For
all the different, like for the readings specifically? Do you have a menu of those?
they are on Facebook.
Okay.
For the most part. Otherwise, if something's not priced, they just need to call.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Prices are not on the website.
I have a question. We have een corn store in Caroline Street.
Do what?
Een corn store.
Coin store?
Yeah.
I believe it's across the street in the other antique shop.
Want I have an address here. I don't know.
1001, that's the next block.
Was it that way?
Yeah, that way.
Okay, thank you very much.
So remember, if you're interested in developing your mediumship, I have an online course for that called Master Your Mediumship. If you're interested in developing your skills for clearing hauntings and working with the spirit world on that level, on more of the paranormal rescue work, then you look at Paranormal Rescue Medium. And I do have a newer course teaching you how to see spirits with these eyes called Mediumship Scrying. All of them are in my Spiritual Academy, so you can hit that link below this video as well. So we're gonna take the time to walk around your shop and show a few people. She's got fantastic merchandise. She's got like some of everything in here, so it's sure to appeal to you. And She is willing to ship it to you. So you see something today, make sure you order it or call her on the phone. You can also probably get stuff in if people are looking for unique things.
And we always make a list.
Yeah.
If you're looking for something, we always ask for their price range because some things are pricey depending on the stone or item. And then we search and we do the best we can. For the most part, we are able to find things that they're looking for. There's been some that have been a bit, we found them, but the prices. So we just go from there then.
Yeah, exactly.
This is our smudge or sage wall, different varieties that we have. We have white sage, red sage, blue sage, and then there are mixtures of sages that we have gotten in. Some new ones, white sage with peppermint, really good for uplifting or sickness. This is white sage, lavender, lemon, Palo Santo, and Florida water.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a heavy hitter right here for working with some negative energies that you want to move on.
That's really beautiful too. Look at that, how nicely it's wrapped. That's unique.
Yeah, I found that with a new company, so I'm very pleased with that. Then we have white sage and eucalyptus. This is great for if you're having colds or if there's sickness in the house, sickness from negativity, from other issues. The eucalyptus will help release and open up and remove those energies. Different other sages. And then we also have resin. So resin and Palo Santo. So a different way of clearing energies. As you know, frankincense and myrrh were some of the top resins used back in biblical times for healing.
I love my frankincense.
And I love Kapal. So yes, but they are there to help with clearings also.
Yeah, so for people that don't know then, so most of the time they would get a little charcoal here, put it in a fire safe bowl. Do you have those as well? I thought I saw some.
Some are here. We have this one. There's some are here. Something a little bit larger.
Yeah.
Down in here.
Okay, good.
And the copper one down
Very
there.
pretty.
And then we also have the sand that you need the sand. So the way I do it is sand first, and then a piece of aluminum foil on top of that so that your sand is always clean. And then you put your charcoal bit on top, light it, let it get hot, and then you put a piece of resin on top. So when it's all done, you pick up the Reynolds wrap, roll it up, toss it away. Your sand is still clean. You never
so you can reuse it. Nice.
reuse it. Yeah.
Nice.
And you don't want to use sand from outside, people. You need to use play sand or clean sand. Outside sand is not clean. So you're defeating the purpose of what it is that you're trying to do.
Exactly. You're cleansing this place spiritually.
Yeah.
You don't want to bring in contaminants.
No, not at all.
So this is great. I love being able to walk around.
Sure.
And then here's some more incense. So they have the cones too.
These are backflow burners. So they're going to flow,
Okay.
not just be like regular incense. The smoke will actually flow.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Get that one. Okay. And then with the cones, so what would you use the dragon's blood for?
Dragon's blood, heavy hitter for, for negative energies. Some of your top negative energies, I would say, is what we use that for, or what we suggest. And then you have your other varieties. If you're not sure, we always say find your scent that you like, because then you're putting your intentions into it and making it as strong as anything else.
Right. So what would you recommend if somebody were to do a nice clearing? They could call you and say, we need to order this. Let me do a nice cleansing and smudge ceremony in my house. What would you do after that to add something positive? Show me some of your positive adding to environments.
Singing bowls.
Yep.
When I go, or a bell. When I go in to do
love that. It's
house
pretty.
clearings, I use a bell. I don't use sage or anything. Because I don't know about pets or children, what it can do to them. But you can go back in, sing, dance, put music on, but musical instruments always brings back in that happy flow of things.
Right. And then can you show us some of like your Himalayan salt lamps and yeah. Oh, and you've got the oils. Do you also have do you have a sage spray?
Yes.
Yeah.
Say we have spirit spray, we
Yeah.
have protection spray, sage is right here.
So there's protection spray. So like if people don't want to burn incense for
Right,
clearing,
and
they can
We
use
have
this.
a college right up the road from us, and they're not allowed to burn anything in
Yeah.
their dorm rooms. They come in and buy this.
Yeah, definitely. It's
Yeah.
just it still works.
So definitely, it's how you use it, how you set your intentions. So Himalayan salt lamps, great for purifying. These are not turned on. So here's a bowl with chunks, and yes, it is real salt, and it does taste good. I have 8 of them at home.
Oh, look at this one has hearts.
Yes, that's a brand new one.
Oh, I love it.
And then this one has
That
balls.
is so pretty.
This one is balls.
Okay. Nice.
Yep. But Himalayan salt is great for purifying the air. It cleanses the air, helps with pep dander, helps with snoring, better sleep.
Yeah, I need to get probably 5 more for my snoring.
But we sold quite a few when COVID hit because that's
Yes.
the air purifier right there.
I was actually spending a lot of time in Himalayan salt caves. I was like going to spas
Definitely.
once a week to sit in there and breathe in the salt.
Because back in the day, the mines in, where were they? Pakistan. That's one of the mines. They would put miners down in the Himalayan salt caves and then miners in another cave, and they'd come out and check their lungs. The lungs on the men that were in the Himalayan salt caves were clean because they were breathing in clean air, and the other ones that were down in a different cave, the coal cave or the dirtier caves, they had lung issues. So there is value.
There's medical proof
there's
now.
medical
yeah.
proof
Salt
that
is purifying.
does work.
Yeah, it's so good for your body and so good to breathe. And of course, you want to use the right kind. You don't want to use table salt. That's not really salt.
No.
That's like
and you
got
want to
other
be careful
additives.
about going to Walmart or Bed Bath & Beyond, because I've checked them. They feel like they have plastic coating on them. So I don't know if they've been dipped, but they're not the real thing. They
Yeah.
might have been real and then dipped, but it's taken the properties away.
Yeah, if you want a healing, anything therapeutic, you're going to pay a little more money because it's
Yes.
going to be real. It's not going to be manufactured and stripped of its healing
No,
qualities.
and ours actually came from a mine in Pakistan.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
Well, they sure are beautiful. Yeah, they're
Have
so
an
nice.
egg
Right?
or
Yeah.
a football down there.
Yeah.
An
I love
angel,
it.
a swan.
Oh, I didn't see the swan. Where's the swan?
He's up there.
Oh, I see.
Yep, you can move the sign.
Oopsies. Oh, that's really cute. Really cute.
So some of these, I will say, we don't like shipping just because of how fragile they are.
You have really good prices on them.
So if you're in the area, we, would rather that you come in to pick them up, because when we get them in, we've had broken ones come in
Yeah.
our shipment.
They
So
are very fragile.
We know what can happen to them, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is, some of you got your books in here. I'll just do a quick
Sure.
little spin. And the dream catcher is another beautiful thing. You can hang over your bed to catch your negative dreams, nightmares. My daughter has had the same dream catcher over her bed for like 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah, a friend made it, and it's just been so special for her. So this is where I first found one of my books that Cheryl carried, was my Mediumship, Scrying, and Transfiguration book. And I was so happy and surprised that she carried it here in her bookstore that I came out and met her. And then we just ended up hitting it off and having all this stuff in common. So then we have all these different things over here. I mean, I'll just do a quick little walkthrough and just give people an idea about what kind of stuff you have here.
We try to support every, I don't want to say every division, every
Yes.
sect of spirituality
I love that.
that we can.
Yeah, and there's so much crossover.
Definitely.
There's just tons of crossover. And then what are these goodie bags?
Spell jar bags that I make.
Oh, I love it.
So,
well, here's a psychic protection one.
oh yeah, definitely, and
Okay.
that's a top seller. So it's a jar. Some of them are already put together, and others there's directions in the card that actually say how to put it together and how to set your intentions with it.
Nice.
So it has herbs, stones, and Himalayan salt in there.
Oh, perfect. And look at your travel altar box. I love those. Those have become so popular.
Yes. So this is tier 1, tier 2, and then there is a tier 3. So tier 1 is for those beginners that have a few little trinkets in it to start. Tier 2 has a little bit more, and then tier 3 is advanced, which would have a small mirror in it that they could use for either their decoration or actually for scrying.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's not a scrying mirror, but it's a mirror that you
That
can
could be used.
that you can use. If yeah.
Okay. And then you have jewelry, crystals. And you got some herbs back here.
All edible.
So these are edible and the quality grade for
Yes.
spell work.
Yes.
And I see some of the
Juju?
ones I'm familiar with. I used to always put the pink rice in my love charm bags that I sent out during COVID when I was spreading the energy of love and casting spells for love. Yeah. So they've got some really great supply here. I mean, it's like endless. So you guys, if you're coming through Fredericksburg, you have to stop here. But I love what you've done here. A lot of crystal shops just have the loose crystals. You actually sell them with the name of the crystal
Yep.
and the properties, so they're not getting mixed up or confused. Like every single
Correct.
one is super organized.
The prior owner had it set up that way, and I asked her if I could take it and use it, and of course, I love it. So we just keep adding new stones to the wall. Everything's alphabetical order.
So what would you say for top protective stone for negative energy?
Oh, that's hard to say because it depends on the person when I read their energy, if that's what they choose. But any of the black stones, black tourmaline, black obsidian, snowflake obsidian, hematite, those are your top protection stones.
Perfect. You carry all of those here.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, and I love the basalt. I use basalt for healing grief. They have big foothills in Phoenix made of basalt, and I was healing I didn't even know it was unintentional, and I felt so happy and euphoric there.
Wow.
I was like, what are these stones? And it was basalt.
Interesting.
Mhm. Yeah, it's very, very healing to the emotions when you're grieving. So, wow, this is just so fabulous. All right, thank you again, Cheryl. Gosh, I'm so happy to have met Cheryl, and I want you guys to all meet her too. This is her store, if I can get it clearly so you can read it. But don't worry, I'll put all her information below this video. Thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to see you next week where we can reconnect. Bye-bye. Okay, I'm gonna give you a big hug.
Oh,
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
you're welcome.
I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.